What is going on, everybody? This is your boy Puffs Comic 83, and I just want to introduce you to my shop owner, Epic Comics Best, Ron. Say how you doing, Ron?
How you guys doing? We are just here celebrating our 10th anniversary. It was earlier in the week, but Saturday is a better day to kind of celebrate. So we got free cupcakes, it happens to be Batman Day, so we got free Batman Day comics, everything on sales, everything in stores on sale, and we're just kind of having a good time celebrating 10 years, kind of a big milestone for a little local business. So,
and what do you think? Like, how do you feel about this shop lasting 10 years and the years that?
It's fantastic. I'm so happy because I remember finding this store back when Al and Danny had just opened it. They had been around maybe like a month, and I was walking my now 11-year-old daughter in her little stroller up and down the plaza, and I was like, oh, there's a comic shop here. I had no idea. And came in, and it was very different, completely different setup, and you know, early days you don't have all that much stuff to begin, and kind of seeing where everybody helped make it grow. The community support has been insane. We got people like you over here coming in for a decade, more or less. A lot of people who just come in week after week, even with the 6 weeks we were closed during the pandemic. It was insane to have people go, hey man, can I still get books? It's like, yeah, you know, everyone's in lockdown, everyone's working from home, but really amazing for everyone to go, hey, we want to support you guys, what can we do? Can we buy gift cards? Can you ship me some graphic novels? Can we meet up? That sort of thing. So it's really, really cool to see everyone, like, you know, early on in the pandemic, it was like, you kept seeing and hearing all these kind of horror stories of small businesses closing. A lot of comic shops were like, after 30 years, we're closing our doors, and you just feel horrible. But it's a kind of a big feat to pull through from that, because when you look at other businesses, it's like we're not essential. As much as you and I care about all these things, it's, you know, if it's like, okay, am I gonna pay for my power bill or get my comics? You got to make the right choice, really. Yeah. But what we were seeing, talking to everybody, was like, this is the stuff that brings us joy. This is stuff that everyone's kind of passionate about. If you're at home, it's a stressful time, you know, all this stuff. So it's really cool. Everyone's like, you know what, I'm setting up my home office now because I'm doing my Zoom calls instead of going into my cubicle or whatever. So let me surround myself with my Batman statues, my Batman books and frames, all my graded stuff. Let me have my Batman figures on the desk. Everyone wants to kind of do that. So everyone was like, what else you got? Yeah, there's no new comics because all the publishers had shut down. I felt horrible for like all the writers and creators who bring this stuff to us, who got like pencils down orders from all the publishers, and we're like, what is going to happen to the industry? But what we saw is that like people want this. It's a fantastic escape. It's an outlet. It's a comfort thing. So everyone kind of like wants the good stories, whether, you know, it doesn't have to make you feel good, but it makes you feel something, and that's what comic books do.
Exactly. And you guys provide great customer service. You don't jack up prices on back issues.
That's one thing that's always been very important to me, is that like, I don't want the store to be a museum of like, oh, amazing things that I'll never afford. So, because I've been, as a collector myself, I've been to places that are like that. It's like, everything's kind of covered in dust, and you're just like, oh, that thing's amazing, but it's there. It's a display thing that no one's ever going to buy. I want people to have enjoyment with the hobby and be like, I got this. I'm happy to have this. This is mine. I can share it with, you know, my wife, my kids. You know, my wife reads. She's read more of my graphic novels than I have. She's read more of my comics than I have, because, and again, it's a bonding thing. It's very much a partnership with the store. But she grew up watching all the superhero movies just like I did. You know, me and my sister used to watch all the Conan knockoff movies on Saturday afternoons, all that swords, and so I'm a sucker for swords and sorcery, and I'm like, there's something for everybody, and really fantastic about the comic and nerdy sort of culture that the store helps kind of drive. We're just a small part of that, but it's a lot of fun to be there, and for the store to grow from where it was, you know. And then when Liz and I took over, coming up on 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago really, from Al, we didn't want to change what was fantastic about Epic. We wanted to kind of build on it. We didn't want to reinvent the wheel because the store was created out of love, and it survived and thrived off of word of mouth, really, from like the community and people like yourself going, this is my shop. Like, so we didn't want to like come in and wipe out everything they had done. We're building on it. It's a family.
And you see more growth coming in the future.
Absolutely, more growth. There's little things that we have changed. Like, okay, we'll do a little more indie comics because maybe the clientele kind of focused on the capes and cows and tights because that's more of what we had. What we found is that like you bring in more of the indie stuff. That's the stuff that's blowing up right now. You know, stray dogs, something's killing the children. So there's always like, we can try this, we can try that. Either it sells, either it doesn't. But the customer feedback has been really good, and kind of getting to do these sort of events is really nice. Like, hey, thank you, come hang out with us. Not just come buy stuff. It's like we just love talking to people about all this stuff. It's we, like, you know, talk for hours about this stuff.
Yeah.
We sit at a table and talk about this forever.
I can come here, friends come and we just sit at the table and just talk.
That shared passion for, like, I might not like necessarily like the comics that you are reading, but I love that you have a thing that you are enjoying. So it's like I don't have to like every book that every customer is asking for. Yeah. But I love that they're coming in because there's something for everybody.
Exactly.
It's not just superheroes. There's horror. There's romance. I'm reading Sweet Paprika. That's a book that if you described it to me 10 years ago, like, oh, it's a romantic comedy, kind of like Sex and the City, but with like a devil girl, I'd be like, give me my Batman books. But again, you turn around.
That's how I felt.
Yeah, you turn around and you read it. It's like, this is really cool. Like anything you're willing to give a chance, and that's what, you know. So ordering a little more indie stuff, bringing in some of the Pokemon stuff that people have been asking for the past year has been like insane with that stuff. You hear the horror stories of like, oh, this store stopped carrying it because somebody got punched in the face over Pokemon cards. Yeah. That sort of thing. So being able to kind of like expand and sort of in that way and still do the things that Al and Danny kind of made the store great for, it was like the focus on art prints, the local artists, the sort of community feel, giving people a good sense of like, you come in, black, white, young, old, male, female, you're gonna feel good about coming in here, and not, because I went to stores when I was a little kid where it was like it was the comic book guy from The Simpsons. You like, that dude was behind the counter, and you just felt like
he ain't kid.
Do I belong here? Like I'm not quite comfortable.
Yeah, we all been through that.
Exactly. So I don't want to replicate that. I want to be the place that goes, yeah, welcome to our world. Like, maybe I don't like the comic you're asking me for, but again, maybe I've never read it. There's way too many things for me to keep tabs on. But I'm happy to help you find the thing you're passionate about, and because then you're gonna tell your friends, they'll come back, and you guys will talk to us about it, and we'll share in that excitement that you've got. So I really love that sort of aspect of it. It's been really
awesome, man. Thanks for this interview, man. I appreciate it.
As always, man.